and you're in the zone.
Good morning, Lincoln, and welcome to our last Sports Zone show of 2022. This year's been a big year. How do you feel about it in the sports we've covered, Toby?
I feel like it was a great year, especially because, our fall sports really had a great year all together.
Yeah.
And I think as a senior and a student of Gahanna Lincoln, it was just fun to watch. And, I feel like the class 2023 really went out on a good note. And I think we got a lot more to carry through this winter and spring, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I agree. It's been an up and down week for the varsity boys basketball team.
The guys dropped a tough one to Westville North Monday night, 57-47.
So our main event this week is Friday night's game.
The Lions faced off against our rival New Albany in a close OCC matchup.
And our Mia Salmons was courtside at the game.
Here's Mia with all the highlights.
The Lions take on crosstown rival the New Albany Eagles on their home court. In the first minute of the first quarter, Xavier Rogers attacks the bucket and puts the first points on the board. Later in the first quarter, Lions now up 5-0. Eagles respond with a drive into the paint. Lions lead 5-2. Now, Dylan Scott at the top of the key. He takes a three, and it's good. But the Eagles aren't finished yet. With just 2 seconds left on the clock, Sid Singh hits a buzzer beater to finish out the first quarter. Lions lead 15-13. Now in the second, Max Atanasoff takes a bounce pass down low that he lays in for two. Then Jonathan Whiteside hands it off to Luke Murray, who drives to the hoop. Lions up 25-18. The Lions still have the lead in the third when Xavier passes it to top scorer KJ Reynolds for an easy layup. KJ had an outstanding game, scoring 17 points, but the Eagles are able to counter and continue to rack up points till they are just down by 2 with 3 minutes left in the third. Braylon Nash dribbles to the basket and has an easy shot to tie up the game, 31-31. The Lions are in need of a response to gain back the lead, and luckily, early in the fourth quarter, the response comes. Jonathan passes it to Maurice Charlton, who makes the bucket and one. Lions lead 35-34. Coach Stibe talks with KJ as New Albany comes to the line to see if they can tie up the game. Sam Dunn is unable to finish, and the Lions run away from there, outscoring New Albany 27-10 in the fourth quarter and pulling away with the win, 54-47.
We started off the third quarter shooting like 6 threes in a row, so I figured we had to slow down the pace, get in some good offense, and then as we start getting a good offense, we just started flowing it better, and then we started getting stops too, so they had to start fouling, and just knocking down free throws is an important part of the game.
It's always hard to win, especially in the league, our division, and these games are always slugfests and dogfights, and the better team doesn't always run away with it, and teams fight, and teams know other teams, and it's hard to defend and scout, and these games, it's all about winning, and it doesn't have to be pretty, doesn't have to be perfect, but you just got to win at the end of the day.
Thanks, Mia, and congrats, guys. Although the boys basketball team lost a lot of players last year, this year's senior class is stepping up to lead the team to victory. We spoke with one of those senior leaders. Here's 1 minute with varsity captain Luke Murray.
Thanks, guys. So today I'm here with senior basketball captain Luke Murray. So Luke, how do you think the season's going so far?
It's going pretty good. Obviously, we had the one tough game at Pick Central, but 3-1, can't really complain. We got a solid start to build off of, so yeah, it's going pretty good for us.
Yeah, I agree. I've came to a few of the games, and I know you're a really strong three-point shooter, but what else do you bring to the table?
I feel like I bring a lot of stability to the team. Limiting turnovers. I can score inside too. I'm a pretty strong dude. And just leadership to the guys too. We got a lot of young guys, and just calling out plays defensively, making sure guys are in the right spots in offense, getting in the offense. So, yeah, I think I'll bring that to the table.
Yeah, the senior leadership's definitely really important. So for pregame, what's your favorite pump-up song?
Definitely Dreams and Nightmares, Meek Mill. It's a classic, but it always hits, so it always gets me in the right mindset. So, yeah, definitely Dreams and Nightmares.
That's great. So thanks for joining me, and back to the sports desk.
Moving on to the girls, they also faced the New Albany Eagles and came out with a dub. Leading scorers on the night were Layla Marshall with 16 points, Clark Jackson with 14 points, and Emily Marzetts with 14 points. Our Damian Jones went out and spoke to some of the players after the game about a great conference win. Here's Damian.
I think the game went not as how we expected in the first half, but we definitely cleaned it up in the second half. I'm proud of my team. We held it together, and we pulled away in the second half and got everyone involved, so I'm proud of them. We did a great job at playing as a team. We had multiple players in double digits, and we were all across the board, so I thought we did a great job today.
Our swimming teams have reason to be optimistic this season. After an impressive showing at the Winter Invite at Kenyon College, both teams finished second. Great job. On Friday night, they had a dual meet against Olentangy Orange. Both boys and girls won Friday night. Here are the first place winners from Friday night.
So basically, a dual meet is more fun, energetic. It's really more of a team bonding experience, and so that we can all cheer on our teammates and just enjoy racing well and having fun with each other.
Thanks, Dylan Cole. Toby, do you remember the state-winning relay team from last year?
Yeah, didn't they graduate half their team?
Yes, they did. There are only 2 left of the 4 girls remaining.
Losing half of such a tight bond can be stressful on the team and coaches.
Yes, it can. So I headed over to the pool to find out more about what these girls are doing to prepare for the new relay team after losing key components.
Take your mark.
The swimming program was extremely successful last year, one relay in particular.
Facing that group was unique because they've been together for quite a few years and we didn't have a lot of seniors the prior years. So they were mostly together for their careers.
Their chemistry and friendship won them the gold at state. However, half the team graduated and moved on to do bigger things.
Considering that I saw these girls as like sisters to me and how close we got over the season, it was actually really hard to say goodbye to them. And so like moving forward without them, it's going to be like a completely different environment. However, it's not going to be bad necessarily because there's a ton of great other things that were added to the team this season, and it still has a great opportunity to be a good season.
It was still awesome to be a part of them, and I hope that we can do the same this year and get as many people as we can. They might be new people, but it hopefully will be a better result than last year.
Although the bar has been set high, these girls are not feeling the pressure.
I don't think that there's necessarily pressure just because our coach doesn't put that type of pressure on us. He just wants us to do as well as we can.
So you pretty much know going into this year there's going to be changes, and so you just kind of tinker around with it in your head and just kind of see how the season plays out. It could be something totally different or it could be something very similar.
The girls are excited for this upcoming season to accomplish new things and grow stronger friendships.
So being on a relay, you have to get to know your relay mates on a really like deep level that you wouldn't with like your other teammates. Emotionally, like getting to know them, and physically as well, because you have to know them and how like you tear apart your bodies during practice and you go through all this training together, and it brings like you and your teammates really close.
The girls plan to do big things this year as they look ahead to the rest of the season. Although high school is temporary, state titles and friendship are forever. This is Olivia Doyle for Lincoln Live.
Thanks, Olivia.
Hey Toby, our favorite reporter, Damian Jones, joins us in the studio today. Good morning, Dom.
Good morning, guys. How are you guys doing today?
Good. How are you feeling about the last show, Dom?
You know, I'm excited for this new class of 23 to come in, finish off the winter spring sports for us.
Yeah, and I heard you got some wrestling for us. Can you tell us about it?
I absolutely do. The boys wrestling team is off to a winning start. The guys had a meet at Worthington Kilbourne this week. They competed against 5 other teams. Despite a tough time in the first duel, they fought hard and came out strong with a 3-2 record as a team. Top wrestlers for the day were Jalen Sanchez with a 5-0, Javon Lewis with a 4-1, and Charlie Foster won 2 matches. And finally, Musa Jallo and Camden Clark. We talked to some of the boys to get their thoughts after the meet.
Tough first match, great kid, state qualifier, tough in the state. I lost by 1 point. That's my bad. I'm conditioning in the morning. I still got weight to cut, so, put it behind me. Looking forward to the rest of the season.
We just put in work to get prepared. We worked a lot on our defense because we knew that these guys were going to be real good. And, coming off a year where we didn't do as well as we wanted to, we knew that we had to up the school.
We have some tough practices. We condition every day. We live. We get a lot of work in the room, a lot of extra hours. Just do what we can to stay in the battle, stay in the close matches, do the most we can to win.
Everybody on 3! 1, 2, 3!
Thanks, Jaden. Following along with the wrestling, the boys team has a lot to prove this season, with majority of the team being underclassmen, needing the couple upperclassmen that they have to gain the leadership role. I even got an inside look at their leadership, helping underclassmen, how they carry leadership into meets.
Sports require work, whether that's putting in your effort in and out of practice or buying into your craft and pushing your teammates as one. A sport here at Lincoln does just that. It takes skill, time, and muscle memory that all ties down to the culture of wrestling.
We're pretty close together. I think all of us have been here a long time, and a lot of us have been doing stuff in the off season. So I think as a group, we're pretty close-knit.
I'll say it's more than one pride, more of a brotherhood. We're very hard on our guys, but we all believe that hard work pays off. The harder you treat them, the more relentless they'll be. We could be a little intense sometimes, I would say. We definitely are an intense team, but everything pays off in the end.
Even though their culture may play a big part, their upperclassmen that have experience are just as important for the underclassmen, looking at that leadership role from them.
Being an upperclassman this year, I know everyone thinks it's like a big deal, but really for me, it doesn't really matter. I've always been a leader on this team. I've always played a role of, helping my teammates get to the best level they could be at. So if that means getting on them when I got to get on them, tell them good job when they did a good job, I'll do whatever it takes.
I get to set an example, and for the younger guys get to come in, it's not some big senior, always, like, oh, I'll be like that in 4 years. It's like, no, you can do this now. You can always get everything done right now. And that's kind of it's an advantage to be a younger, leader, and it's also good for seniors.
The leadership that is shown has great impact on the team. With this leadership, they hope to carry that over into meet days.
When it comes to tournaments and stuff, it's us against 10 or 15 other teams, and I think us being so close together, and that makes it a lot easier on tournament day and meet day.
We definitely get on our younger guys because, when they become upperclassmen, we want them to be, good role models, good leaders when everyone's gone. We want our program to be good for years at a time, not just the years we're here. We want them to stay good, be good. We want everyone to be great years to come, years to follow. So we get on our guys, all of our upperclassmen, but it's all for the best.
As you can see, they're trying to make an impact for the years to come. The wrestling culture at Lincoln describes leadership, hard working, and greatness for one another. They're selfless when it comes to the team and is willing to push the coaches and the players to be their best. This is Damian Jones in The Zone.
Now staying on the topic of wrestling, there is a new team here at Lincoln, the girls, who were on the team last year and decided to create their own team. And they're ready to take the mats. Our Taylor Braun headed into the wrestling room to find out more.
Over the years at Gahanna Lincoln, they have developed 27 successful varsity sports. This winter, they changed that to 28, adding an all-girls wrestling team to the count.
So girls were on, I would say the boys team. It became a co-ed wrestling team.
So we had a handful of girls. One of our coaches, Emily Leesberg's dad, has been coaching her, and he definitely met with us and talked about how we can get girls wrestling started. Because at that point it was sanctioned by a different association, not the Ohio High School Athletic Association. So we were operating under that. He was taking some of them to a few all-girls tournaments, and then other than that, they were with the boys team, again, co-ed team.
Through the weight of having their own team, the female athletes faced many challenges while being associated with the boys team.
I think enough girls were fed up with wrestling the boys because, I don't know, they're smelly, and after a while, it's just like they're stronger than us, and it's an unfair physical advantage. So having an all-girls team is just nice to wrestle with.
The decision of having a set girls wrestling team is not up to the school, although they wish it was. This year, it has finally been sanctioned by the state of Ohio, and the girls are thankful for this as it brings back a sense of comfort to their sport.
It's nice to be with other girls that understand and have been through similar situations wrestling the guys that you have been. It's also a sense of like a community or family.
The sense of community they have built in the program gives them the comfort of being around females similar to them. Last year, Emily didn't have that luxury.
Just like a couple comments here there, but it was a lot of like some other schools wouldn't wrestle me because as a girl, it's just like, well, technically they're giving up points. It just frustrated me because I wasn't actually being able to wrestle.
As she has helped build this new program, her dad has volunteered to be the coach and help grow the team.
She's my daughter. So it's pretty easy. There's girls that have had to wrestle on a guy's team their entire career. And these girls wrestled in high school. They're all 4 years against guys. And that's really, they were the motivation, they were the drive to get more girls to build the numbers. And again, got to stick with it because they deserve it. They work hard. They put the time in.
They are looking forward to this upcoming season and making history at Gahanna. We wish them the best of luck in their first season. This is Taylor Braun in The Zone.
Thanks, Taylor. Well, that's all the sports news I had today. Sending it back over to the sport desk one last time of the year.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Dom. In hockey, skate in shifts due to how much energy they need to expand on the ice. So players are exhausted after games. But what about playing 3 games in one weekend? That's what our hockey team did. They defeated Columbus Academy 8-1 and Bishop Watterson 2-1. But the game of the week came Friday night against DeSales. Lions hosting DeSales on Teacher Appreciation Night at the Chiller. And Gahanna got off to a rough start, falling behind 3-0 in the first period. But Gahanna scored 4 goals in the second period by Nate Highland, Sam Heckathorn, Brody Phillips, and Tony Dehanov, and led 4-3 in the second intermission. Heckathorn added his second goal in the third period, and Gahanna skated to the 5-3 win over DeSales.
It was a rough first period. We were down 3-0, but we persevered back throughout the rest of the game. Fought hard.
We came out super slow today. We need to work on coming out strong, fast, hitting hard. And then throughout the rest of the game, the only thing that kept us in was our goalie, and then the fact that we had power play after power play.
Congrats again, boys. Speaking of hockey, the team thought they were going to have challenges before entering this season.
They graduated 11 seniors last year, and this year they only have 1 senior, Brecken Parson.
That's right, and despite having a very young team, they are excelling.
Our Delaney Rossetti went to the rink to find out how the younger players have stepped up.
This year for the Lions hockey team has been very different than the others. With seniors leaving and players moving on, the Lions are looking to rebuild.
We have a shorter roster than we've had in the past with not as many players because we don't have a lot of senior experience. The biggest thing that I wanted coming into the season was for some leaders to step up, and our 2 captains, Nate, our captain, and David Van, who's our assistant, have really stepped up into a leadership role, and a lot of the junior guys on the team have really stepped up.
I think the freshmen are working hard. They're filling in the old senior spots, filling some really big shoes, able to help us win some games and giving us some good backup.
During this transition period, the team as a whole has had to come together to make adjustments and fill in the holes that were once there.
It gives the juniors and seniors a chance to teach some of the freshmen how to play on a varsity team and how to conduct themselves on and off the ice. So it's been really fun, and they've grown a lot since the start of the season.
young team, you know, that means better for future generations of the team. They're learning right now, and, you know, we got a good team, so it'll be a brighter future for us.
Having a younger roster this year has been nothing short of a challenge for this team. Building chemistry with younger players has been a huge focus so far.
We lost a lot of seniors last year, but we were able to build up chemistry a lot. The junior class is pretty big, so we've already built a lot of chemistry over the past couple years. But, you know, just being able to introduce the freshmen too, they started building chemistry, and then everything just comes together. And
you know, we all get along very well. You know, we like to hang out. You know, we went to the Jacks game, hung out, so we're doing things to build the team off ice and on ice every.
Dealing with these transitions has been challenging for the Gahanna boys hockey team, but the boys are hopeful for a successful season.
And we're striving to get better at practice, talk, communicate, work better on the forecheck, power play, PK, just all the little things that go into making the season a success.
While dealing with the adversity, rebuilding the Gahanna hockey team won't let them stop from being the powerhouse team that they are. This is Delaney Rossetti in the Zone.
Thanks, Delaney. For anyone who doesn't know, Delaney is on our girls bowling team, and we have an update for you. The girls have nothing to be ashamed of after a 4th place win at the Holiday Baker Bash that took place last Saturday. The girls qualified second with a 27-42 for 16 games, advancing to match play. In the first round, they beat Columbus South 2-0. Sadly, in the semifinals, the girls fell to Newark 1-2. Great job, ladies. Now on to boys bowling. The boys missed the cut, finishing 14th out of 35 teams. The boys fought hard and managed to break out a 255 game, which was second highest game of the tournament. Keep up the hard work, boys. Toby has 1 minute with girls bowler Casey Burns.
Thank you, guys. I'm joined here with Casey Burns, star bowler for the girls bowling team. So Casey, we like to bring people on to the 1 minute with, see what you guys do to prepare for the games. What do you do to prepare for your bowling meets?
I know Delaney does this too. We like to write in our journal to kind of like prepare us mentally, because it does take a lot of mental, not only is it physical, but it is really mental. I kind of just like to listen to music and just kind of vibe before, so I can get like calm down and not get too hyped up.
Yeah, and you say bowling's a lot mentally. We see that a lot more in the recent professionals. They're talking more about the mental game. How does the mental side of the game affect you bowling?
I know if I'm doing bad, I get really mad easily, and so kind of just like take me a minute to calm down, because I know if I stay mad, that's not going to help my game, it's not going to help my scores, so really calming down and taking a deep breath is really important.
And bowling is a team sport, so how does it affect you personally when, you might be bowling like the best game of your life, but, the teammates around you might not be bowling your best? How do you deal with that mentally?
I mean, it is hard because sometimes you just don't know how to help them, and because our team is so young, they have a hard time getting out of their head as easy as I do. So kind of telling them, like, we don't expect a lot from them this year. We do expect, like, some, but we aren't expecting them to be, like, at a level that me and Delaney are and all the veterans. So just telling them to calm down, and it's really not that serious, helps.
Yeah, and then how's the team's chemistry building? And I know you guys are a younger team, but bringing in some new people. How's the team's chemistry building? I know you guys have had some rough games or matches. How do you guys build some more chemistry so you guys can start winning those closer matches and getting to where you guys want to be?
We really realize that it's not just one person's fault if we win or we lose. We win as a team, we lose as a team. That's one of our biggest team mottos. So just letting them know that we're all there for them, we all love them. Just because they're young, we're trying to not only help them grow as bowlers, but help them grow as people. We've all became really, really close, so it's working out pretty good.
All right, thank you, Casey, and I'm sending it back to the news desk.
Thank you, guys. With the past Outside Zones, we've had only boys on.
But with this week's edition of the Outside Zone, we wanted to mix it up a little and see what our ladies thought about sports. Here they are.
Hello, and welcome to the first ever female edition of the Outside Zone, where we discuss sports outside of Lincoln. So starting off, let's talk about the NFL, talk about Watson being back for the Browns. How are we feeling about that?
Well, I am a passionate Browns fan. We have family in Cleveland. They love the Browns. I mean, obviously, he's a great quarterback. He can throw the ball. He can run the ball. He's skilled in every aspect. Do I think he's a good person?
Up for debate.
Up for debate, definitely. That makes it tough, but there's no doubt that he is a good fit for the Browns and for the team in general. So, Taylor, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I think, as a woman, it can be hard because it's someone that has apologized to all 26 women, but has also said he's never disrespected a woman in his life before. And it's like, that's such a blanket statement, but then you go and you apologize for action. So kind of like Sam Ponder said really well the other day. She said it's not he said, she said, it's he said, they all said.
Yeah. Taylor makes a good point of, obviously, like, sometimes there are false accusations. There might be one petty girl from high school, but 26 women is a giant span of women who are telling the same story and are wanting their voices heard. So to hear that, it's not just, oh, there's no reality of this when there are so many alike stories.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I totally agree. As a non-Browns fan, I don't feel like I actually have a say in, like, him being back or whatever, because, like, I don't really care that much about the Browns, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah.
Go Chargers. But anyways, as a woman, it's definitely hard for me to, like, see that he got, in my opinion, such a light punishment. With
slap on the wrist. For
yes,
sure.
with the 11-game suspension. I mean, honestly, I feel like it could be more, but that's just my opinion. But
I mean, like, you're
26 women, 11 games.
Yeah.
It's a slap on the wrist. At least he apologized. At least he made amends, you could say, but it doesn't make up for what's already
right, like paying them, like, I don't know how that, like, as a woman, like, if I was, no, I don't want, I don't know, I don't want his money, like, I don't get that.
Yeah.
But, like, he's human, no, like, right, like, people make mistakes, but this is much bigger than just a mistake. Like, it's a handful of people with a huge, like, is he a sexual assault person? Like, that's a big title.
Yeah. My thing is, if he wasn't playing in the NFL, he'd be out on the sex offenders list. It's because he's playing in the NFL that it's kind of like 11-game suspension. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So talking about another controversy, we could say, is Tom Brady and his divorce. So, I mean, yeah. So we'll just talk about this real quick. But how do you guys feel about some people saying that he chose football over his wife?
Let it go.
That's what I'm saying. There's a certain time when it's time to move on. Like,
he's old.
Yes.
We get it.
The other
he lost the other day to Purdy. I mean,
he's like 20 years
pretty good.
younger.
Yeah. It's
so
just you're becoming the old guy. Like, you've given so much to be
like, you're great. We get it.
Yes.
But, like, let other people shine at this point. Like, take the retirement.
You've given up so much to play football. Like, giving up your wife.
Yeah.
Like, and just being like, no, like, I'm done with this whole marriage thing. Like, I'm going to play football for 3 more years, whereas your wife could be your lifelong partner for 30 years.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. But.
And for the kids, I feel like that has to be even harder for them to have to go through as their dad, who probably is out, like, practicing all the time, traveling for games, like, all throughout, like, their entire life now, because he's just nonstop playing.
It'll be interesting to see.
And now that they're splitting, it's like, when are they ever going to be able to see their dad? And will their dad be, like, in their life as much as they need because he's gone?
Yeah, exactly. So switching over to college now, let's talk about the Bucks. So how do we feel that they will face against Georgia?
It has me shaking in my boots a little bit. I won't lie to you. We haven't played a ton of really good teams. We played Penn State, and that game was shaky.
Yeah, our resume's not the best.
And then we played Michigan and got our butts handed to us. You know what I mean? So going into a big game like Georgia, being ready to put on our big boy pants and go out there and play football, like, I don't know how prepared we are, but...
Right.
I do think that we would face off better against Georgia than TCU would have, and I'm so glad that we did get that 4 spot instead of that 3.
Yeah.
Thank you, Utah.
So,
yes, a huge thankful out to Utah.
Yes,
out to you guys.
But we'll just see how CJ Stroud, goes up. And I think that will also be a coaching thing, see how Day will respond to this and see what happens with that.
I think this game will play a huge role on if Day comes back, if I'm being honest. You've played Michigan twice and gotten beat twice.
Yeah.
You're 0-2 against the rival team here, and it
might be the beginning of the Michigan era. We're not sure. Hopefully not.
Yeah, it's definitely putting his job on the line, I think, in my opinion. But
him and CJ, so Day and CJ Stroud just went up to the Heisman celebration in New York, right? And, like, they come back now after, like, dining and, like, CJ being praised for, like, stuff that he's done. And it's like, at the beginning of the season, I was, like, right with them, like, yeah, he was going to be a Heisman.
Yeah.
But then it took this huge turn, like, mid-October, and it was, like, that Penn State game. And it's, like, you watching these games, we were just getting lucky with our points because like who we were playing, which they're normally bigger, like ranked higher. So it's like, I was kind of surprised to see that he was a finalist. Like I am like all 4 Buckeyes, but it was like.
He kind of got it handed to him like a little lob, like, oh, you haven't had a tough schedule, like you have a winning record, but like, who were you playing? Like if we only played Westland and Licking Heights, like we would be ranked way higher in high school. So to put it in college perspective, like Northwestern and Rutgers. Like,
it's not the best resume that we have. So definitely for sure, but if the Bucks do pull off this win against Georgia, they might play Michigan again in the final. How do we think that would?
I mean, don't talk to me. I'm going to be standing and I'm going to be locked into that game because if I don't know how. I'll be shaking in my boots.
It's just me to think about, I won't lie, but I think now we've seen our opponent, and I think it's way easier to come back and beat someone the second time you play them than it is the first time you beat them. We've seen their offense, we've seen their defense, we're ready to come back, and how do we prepare for that is what's going to be the deciding factor on if we want to lose that game.
Right, this is the time for them, like, yes, CJ, okay, Heisman finalist, but now you come back and you lock in for this game that you got, like, almost, I guess, like, lucky to be in. I mean, like, you have to take all these days because there's clearly a lot for you to work on, and like,
exactly.
We want a good outcome from this, so everyone needs to just, it's a big, like, you got to use every single day that you have to prepare for this
It's hard to beat a team twice in the same year. I feel like us now, we had that fire since we lost to Michigan last year going into this Michigan game, and then we ended up losing that game too. So I feel like now there's definitely adding fuel to this fire, but definitely.
I was really confused going on, like, that last touchdown that Michigan had, they just ran all the way down, and it was like the Buckeyes just like completely gave up, and I was like, this is not the Buckeyes, like this is Michigan we're talking about here. Like we cross out all the M's on campus here. Like where was like that fire on that day? And so something like CJ, I think a lot of his like of people questioning him, you could see it definitely got to him towards the end of the season where he just started to like, he just couldn't perform as well.
Yeah. Definitely. So excited to see. Hopefully the Bucks pull off this win against Georgia. Yes. And that's all we have for you guys today for the first ever female edition of the Outside Zone. Back over to the sports desk.
Thanks, Jillian. It was great talking with you and Taylor.
Well, as we come to the end of our show, this will be the last ever sports show produced by the fall sports class.
We'll be back after winter break with a new class to talk about winter and spring sports.
But before we say goodbye, we asked the class how they felt about this semester.
So this is the first time that Sports Zone has ran in the fall. So that's really exciting. We got to cover soccer and football, and you know, that's something we've never been able to do before.
No, I thought this semester was great for the Sports Zone. With such a small class, we were able to collaborate with each other and work really well together, and it was just kind of like a, you know, family atmosphere with such a small amount of people in here.
You know, last year, starting from the experience that I had last year, coming into this year, you know, I just came in here with more confidence. Feel like I did better in my packages. You know, from 1 minute whips to interviews, from video results, from whatever it was. I feel like I gained some more confidence in Mr. Lowry. You know, the class is better than last class. You know, I feel like if the class is not improving each year, then we're not trying to win at Emmy each year. So I feel like we did good this year too.
So I took intro last year, first semester, and then I went the whole second semester like not doing anything. And then I came right back into Sports Zone for the first semester, so I was a little rusty getting into it, but it was really fun. I loved all the people that were in it, and I learned a lot of new things, and it's some great experiences.
I feel like this year went really well for us. This class is honestly probably my favorite class that I've ever had. I feel like it's taught me a lot about myself and how to work with other people and how to communicate with other people, and that there's a lot of things in this industry that I want to do personally. I feel like I've discovered like what I want to do in the future.
So this semester we only had 8 people in the class, which makes us all really close, and 4 of us were coming from Lincoln Live, so the 4 of us also got really close. And then Lainey, Toby, and Dom all were in sports last year, but this being Taylor's first year and her being a sophomore, she really held up her end of the weight but we all helped each other, and with having the amount of people that we did, I think that we did a great job.
I think this semester went great. We have a lot of hardworking, dedicated people, and some who weren't even in the class who were willing to pitch in. So that always makes for a good recipe of good shows and a hard work ethic. So things went really well this year, and we're hoping to win another Emmy.
So I've always loved Sports Zone. It's been my favorite class because I love sports. But doing Lincoln Live, obviously, I didn't want another package to do, to be completely honest with you. So it was really just the package. That I didn't want to do that, but I still loved sports, and I love the content that you guys made, and I loved just helping out and being around this class and Mr. Lowry.
A lot of after hours and a lot of times we'd have to stay after school or spend our lunch editing, but at the end of the day it was worth it because we got to do what we love, is sports and covering it, and I know some of the people in this class want to take it into a career, so the fact that we could boost people's dreams and goals in life to give them the stepping stone that they want to get to the next level, I think that means a big deal.
And with that being said, this is the last show of 2022.
We enjoyed every moment of the sports we got to cover.
Although this is our last show, a brand new sports broadcasting class will be back in January to produce Lincoln Sports Zone.
Thanks for watching, and as always,
Go Lions!